What up, America? What up, America is going down, of course, Thursday night special edition. It's going to be a little different tonight. Won't be the same as you guys usually seen how we line it up. Unfortunately, my homeboy Clay will not be on tonight. His son is a quarterback in Texas, of course. I gotta tell you, he broke his wrist tonight, so Clay is going with him to make sure he's all right. So let's all put some prayers up for Clay's son, Esteban. Definitely one of the top players in the country. Man, I just hate to hear when a kid has an injury. So Clay has to be a dead first before he can jump on here and argue with some of y'all coaches on Unranked. But he'll be back definitely next week as we have some important news as we approach the Nationals, man. We're in October, so November is going to really count for a lot of teams. It's usually championship month for a lot of leagues. So it's going to get down to the nitty gritty, man. So we'll talk about some point in the show, in today's show, about how you can still get into the YNC, some different ways. Of course, Ranked Up is going to be super excited. That's going to be in Georgia. That's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. So teams, don't get depressed when you're not included as with the what if brackets, or if you're not included in the top 8 right now. And listen, in certain age groups, there's going to be more teams than what we just take our traditional 8. Why? Because we feel like in certain age groups, we kind of know what those top teams are already, and we want to get to the cut to the chase. Parents, we don't want you to spend any extra money that you don't have to spend to be there 2 weeks, 9 days, 10 days. No, we're going to get to the chase. Check-in will be on Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday is going to be the semi-bracket games, and of course, Friday and Saturday championships inside of the stadium, inside of Trans Powell, so in the 305 in Miami. So you'll be able to find out really quick who those top teams in the nation are. So they'll be straight fire as soon as you get off the plane. So tonight we'll have on some special guests. We got some coaches, of course, that we want to talk to. Some new number 1 teams in the rankings, of course, that we're releasing tonight, only right here on Rankings Uncut. So gotta tell you, one thing I was impressed with, and we'll talk about some youth football. You guys will chime in. I got my phone here, so if you guys want to give me some notes or if you guys want to give me some comments, I'll try to, I can't commit to it, but I'll try to see some of your guys' comments and make it interactive inside of the show. I want to give a shout out to the OG Ducks 8U. And why do you say about the 8U? Well, listen, there's been a thing where there's been teams saying that there's teams running, there's teams that don't go to the smoke. And there's another team that I'm going to give a shout out to in a second, but let's talk about the OG 8U. OG 8U is based out of California for the people who don't know, out of Inland Empire that used to be called the I Ducks, and of course led by President Keefe, who is he's a 14U head coach and also the offensive coordinator for the 8 and under. Well, this 8 and under looked on our rankings all year long, and they said, well, who's your number 1 and number 2 team? Coincidentally, they were both in the same state. At the time, it was Twin City Outlaws and also Georgia Eagles. Well, they chose to go straight out to Georgia and play the number 1 and number 2 team. I mean, you can fly around the country and play number 4 and play number 5, but then you'll still be in the argument, hey, who's really the top 2 teams, whatever. They went for the gusto to go win, lose, or draw. Shout out to those boys really putting it in, going across the country, came up short against both teams, unfortunately. But listen, first half of football got away from them against the Georgia Eagles. Georgia Eagles has an explosive offense. Kids come off the ball. That is a team that we just was felt on the cusp of being number 1 and number 2 at the 8 and under. Super talented team. But the second half of that game, Ducks really clamped down, and there was no more scoring on that Ducks defense. So it ended up where Ducks lost against Georgia Eagles. The following day, they played against the number 1 team in the nation, which is Twin City Outlaws. Twin City Outlaws, I'll be honest, because, I love football. So we break it down. Ducks had the game won all the way into the 4th quarter, but that's why you play 4 quarters of football. It's never a 3.5 quarters of football or half of football. It's 4 quarters of football. So shout out to Twin City, able to defend off everyone's best shot. So just if you didn't watch that game or if you didn't hear about it, OG Ducks leading the game 6-0 going into the 4th quarter. And it was 4th and long for Twin City. Quarterback stepped back, boom, threw the ball up, touchdown. But before it was just a perfect storm. Right before that, they got a turnover, and our Outlaws just was the football gods stick out for them for that day. So listen, the final score was 7-6, Outlaws over the Ducks. But the moral of the story is, man, Ducks went across the country, played the number 1 team, played the number 2 team all in one weekend. Didn't want to have a discussion. So you can tell after this weekend, definitely those Ducks can play with the top 5 teams in the country. Would love to see them down in Miami playing for a national championship, because in that age division, as we saw, any given Saturday, someone can walk away with a championship. And another one, now you guys may say, hey, Jonah, man, this team has lost 3 games already. But listen, if I challenge any other team to play the schedule they have, and yeah, I'm talking about Air Academy. Air Academy, 10 and under. They played Rare Breeds this weekend. Rare Breeds, very talented team. We've seen Rare Breeds go across the country. We know the pedigree that the coaches have. That same coaching staff was on the 13U last year, the national champs, and they really poured a lot into that 10 and under team this year. They stood toe-to-toe with them, walked away with a 12-6 loss, but 1 touchdown. But also, OG Ducks, just really, they're a strong team. But now you look at Rare Breeds. Rare Breeds played the OG Ducks 10U and just really ran away with the game. OG Ducks didn't expect for those guys to really come out there and put the points up that they did, but it was a Rare Breed team that was determined. So shout out to the Rare Breeds going across the country, playing two of the top ranked teams on the West Coast. You can't say enough of these teams late in the season that's just putting the funds together, going out there and attacking these teams and going for the number 1 teams in the nation. So we respect that, man. We respect what these teams putting it in and putting in that work. So I know we don't usually jump into the rankings so early, but we're going to do so tonight. We're going to talk about the 14 and under division. Now, while we were away last week doing our brackets, what ifs type of situation, the 14 and U division has changed. And we talked about, again, OG Ducks, Keefe, of course, holding down that number 1 spot from wire to wire, but coming up short in the game. So we'll get to that as we break down number 15 to number 1 and 14 and under. And this will be on our Instagram tonight and our Facebook. We'll have the artwork out for all your teams so you can post it. And most importantly, the rankings are seeding the teams in their playoffs. So if you look at our rankings and you look number 1 through number 8 for majority of age groups, 1 will play 8, 2 will play 7. One will play 8, 2 will play 7, 3 will play 6, and 4 will play 5 in the first round. So that's how it shakes out. So these rankings count more than just the bragging rights that you guys will get to post up at the end of the night, but they'll be really, most importantly, where you know who you're playing. And why is that important? Because it's all, for us, it's about you teams being able to scout. What am I playing round 1? What am I playing round 2? Who's my potential matchup? So if you get to see a team that you want to go against, hey, listen, this is the time for you to go ahead and scout, see who you're gonna match up with. Also, those particular age groups where the brackets will be expanding, we'll let you know that too, because if you're 1, you'll be playing number 10. And like I said, all you have to do is coach the best 3 games of your life that particular weekend, and you're the national champion. Because yes, we rank all year. It's great to see where the rankings are going with it, but most importantly, it is just to get the best teams in that particular age group in one facility so they can play football. But after that, honestly, the rankings are out the door. When you get there and you step off the plane in Miami, you could be number 1, you could be number 2. Of course, the seeding's got something to do. If you're number 10, yeah, you getting that fire off rip. You're playing the number 1 team in the country. There's no mistake about it. But we feel the number 1 teams all across the board deserve that. They've played for it all year. So why not? They got the easier road to the championship because they worked for it through the season. Now, if you're just getting in, then yeah, you got that test that you just won't have, a way that you're just sneaking in the national championship. You're going to have to work for it. But after that, we just stand back and we watch. So it's going to be exciting that whole December weekend, or that December week, I should say. All right, 14 and under. Jump right into it. At the number 15 spot, Michigan Outlaws holding it down. And listen, 2 teams from the same state, Detroit Spartans at the 14 spot. Of course, Maryland Seahawks losing to a wrecked team. What's going on, Maryland Seahawks, and losing to Osceola Cowboys? This is not the Seahawks team we're used to seeing. They're at the bottom of the pile, outside looking in right now. The Lakewood Spartans out of Florida at the 11th spot. The Casey Outlaws at the 10th spot. Rockledge Raiders out of Florida at the 9th spot. And Pompano Eagles out. Listen, this is a team, a dark horse. Look for them to make some noise, of course, out of Florida as well. Silk City Elite out of New Jersey, holding it down at the number 7 spot. And, of course, in the Midwest, Montana Cowboys representing the Midwest. I got to love those boys coming in here. And of course, what we call it the but of course it's Harbor Area Pilots holding it down at number 5. Mississippi Wolfpack. Hey, listen, Mississippi has been on the cusp of really getting to those games that count the championship. Tough team, hard-nosed. Those guys are always ready for a good football game. Of course, at the number 3 spot, holding it down, the Osceola Cowboys at the number 3. Of course, they're not used to being at the position. The OG Ducks at the number 2. And listen, why do you say, well, they just lost a game to the OC Buckeyes? Well, and they really lost handily. But when it comes to the rankings, this is the question when we sit down at the table with our committee. Who do we feel is better? If we're going to put you at the 2 or the 3, what teams we feel that if they played you, they'll beat you? Well, right now, as of the day, I don't know if there's teams, and our guys don't know if outside the Buckeyes, who beats the Ducks. So they're at the number 2 position, and a new number 1 team in the nation right now, OC Buckeyes, representing, of course, the California. I told you that West Coast has been really producing some top 14U teams year in and year out. And today and this year is no different. Really a powerhouse of the West Coast when it comes to 14 and under. So that is our 14 and under. We'll have that artwork for you just to go ahead and recap it so you guys can spread it around. But if you were looking at a bracket right now, you'll be talking about Buckeyes coming out playing Pompano Eagles day 1, Ducks playing the Silk City Elite day 1, Cowboys, Osceola Cowboys playing the Montana Outlaws, and Mississippi Wolfpack against the Pilots. So that would be the what if you're jumping out on rankings of 14U. Now, jumping right into 13U action. Of course, I'm going to have some coaches come on in a minute, and we'll get to chop it up with them in a second, as well as my producer tells me how we're looking. And 13 and under, a team that lost this weekend but played tough to the number 1 team in the nation. A dogfight between Air Academy and LA Rampage. Very impressed. Even with a loss, Air Academy showed that they have the grit to play on a national schedule. Really impressed with their defense. They were able to hold an explosive offense to Rampage to a minimum score of just 2 touchdowns. So I got to tell you, look at that Air Academy. That's a dark horse at that 13 under. We'll be watching them as we head into the playoffs or head into as we get closer to postseason. But that's a team that has an opportunity to get in at rank up. What rank up is all about is getting your rank up right before it's time to get into the national championship, guys. So that's how you can just kind of squeeze your way in there if you haven't had the ranking throughout the year at the end. Now, listen, we no easy road. You're not just going to come in there and be a number 1 or number 10 team. You'll be squeezing in at the end and probably facing number 1 team out of the nation off rip. At the 14 and under, KC Outlaws. At 13 and under, out of Virginia, Frederick Yellow Jackets. I got to tell you, Yellow Jackets is a team that just keeps winning, undefeated, a strong team that I think can be there at the end of the year as well. Out of California, Bear Mafia. Out of Texas at the 11th spot, Gold-Blooded Titans. And, of course, at the 10th spot, they haven't lost a game yet, Southside Ducks holding it down for Texas as well. At the number 9 spot, Vegas Strong holding it down out of Nevada. And a team that, listen, they've only lost a Rampage, and they have had some tough games. They're working on the offense, but they have a championship defense. If you can't score, you can't win. Welcome back into the top 10, Ross Elite out of Georgia. And listen, not too far down the street, teams that seen each other already, Stonecrest Camo Spartans out of Georgia. And moving up 1 spot, City Life Raptors defeating the Heat, another ranked team, but they're not the ranked team. They knocked the Heat out this weekend. City Life Raptors, listen, they want redemption. They didn't feel they started out their preseason the way that they usually do. They won the national championship last year. Nobody's talking about them. Nobody's celebrating them. Nobody's just putting them on big poster boards. So they just got their lunch pail right now in their hard hats. They ready to play some football. So look for City Life Raptors to keep making some noise at the number 6 spot right now. Of course, at the number 5 spot at the 13 under, the Miami Gardens Ravens holding down. That's Purple Lambeau repping. And of course, the Motor City Jaguars at number 4. A lot of talent up in this top 5 team. It can go any way with the top 5. I'm telling you, that's a lot of talent, and there'll be some D1 players all over that football field when it comes to playing the national championships. Number 3, Duluth Wildcats. This is really my personal dark horse. This team has athletes at the skill positions that can score anywhere on the football field and a suffocating defense. A lot of people haven't seen them on YouTube, haven't seen them up there, but I can tell you, Wildcats are a team to reckon with, and I can guarantee you they'll be in those last 2 rounds of playing football when it comes to the national championships at YNC. And of course, the number 2 team, they've been holding it down all year. Make no mistake, the Watkins Hornets, the Clock Boys, just really repping a strong team, man, that if we've been impressed, they've taken on any and everybody that's come into their backyard. They've put on under Coach Mike, a super talented team, and of course, holding it still right now, undefeated from preseason to now, Rampage. Of course, and Halloween, those 2 teams, number 1 and number 2, will be looking to go ahead and play each other. And of course, not only number 1 and number 2, Rampage will actually be taking on the City Life Raptors the same exact weekend. So another team that flies in somebody's neighborhood and wants to play any and everybody. So shout out to Rampage. They're just leaving no stone unturned. And I got to tell you, I'm super, super impressed with that Rampage team. But they'll have their work cut out for them that weekend playing 2 of the top 13 U's in the country. Speaking of top teams in the country, as we keep going to these rankings, I want to talk to one of the coaches that really dominated the same age group that I'm talking about, 13 and under last year, moved to a different age group this year at the 10 and under. But he can tell you what it takes to win that 13 under. He was ranked number 1, did it wire to wire, and walked away with a national championship. Of course, Coach DeMarcus, they call him Coach Mark from Rare Breeds, the creator of the Rare breed. Being rare as, as he said online. I can't do it here. Hey, welcome to the show, Coach Mark.
What up, Coach?
So look, man, stranger to this, back to a familiar place. Before we talk about your 10U team, man, let's reminisce a little bit, D-Mark. Let's talk about the 13U last year, special team, man. You put those babies together. I saw when you started from the 10U, took them all the way up to the 13U. Talk about that Rare Breed team that started this whole Rare Breed brand last year, man, and just was super special. Didn't lose a game.
Hey, man, they rare as they come, man. As we can see, man, if you're paying attention, they checking all the way out as freshmen in high school. All right, man, them boys, they spaced out all over Georgia, man, getting real reps right now as freshmen, man, coming in ready to play ball. That's what we stand on.
That's what I got to make you feel good, Coach. That and as freshmen, that you putting some kids that's a product on the football field. Now that just talk about the development of those kids.
No doubt, man. We stand on that, man. Kids leaving us ready to play ball. So man. Hey, keep watching. Keep watching.
Well, let's talk about this, D-Mark.
I'm really in one of them moods. I'm in one of them moods with y'all right now, man. Like,
oh man, get out your feelings, Mark.
You gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention. That's all, man.
Listen. So I'm glad I got you on the phone. No, we don't sleep. We don't sleep at all. But we have our different criteria that just every team got to meet, and of course, rankings at the 10 and under has changed this week. And as you put in work, but let's just backtrack. I brought up your 13U team for a reason. Last year, when you was 13U, you were the number 1 ranked team in the nation. And we watched a lot of teams fly into Atlanta. Let's talk about Purple Lambeau. They flew into Atlanta. I think the score was 31-0. Had a couple more teams fly into Atlanta. You really hosted your number 1 position in Atlanta last year. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind, okay? That you was the host. You was a gracious host. Anybody who wanted to come in your city, you ain't turn them down.
But we went and got it too. We went to a lot of cities last year. We pulled up last year too. And when our least traveling years, we still went to what we seen you in Florida. So what tournament was that?
You saw me at the national championship.
Nah, definitely that one. We definitely there in the end, but we was all over the place during the season too.
And DeMarcus, you owe me an apology, man.
A lot of these cats don't move around, and you know who we talking about. Like, move around and still play some football.
DeMarcus, you on Uncut? You can speak your mind.
You win one championship, and you get to sit still. Where you do that at? Like, nah.
So,
that shit ain't talking about nothing. At least be a repeat offender. Like, that's some bullshit. Like, you don't sit there, man. Let these boys come play ball. Let these boys come travel and play. Cause listen, when we get in front of you, we really gonna got to give you what you're looking for. Simple as that. Like,
So with y'all being in the position y'all are, you see yourself playing for a national champion this year at the 10 and under.
No doubt, man. Man, that's what
So
shoot. That's day one for us. We walk in the
so
door
last year you
first
had
day
this team
one.
at
That's
nine
our.
U. You had this
Hmm?
team at 9U last year, but you wasn't really able to pour in 24 hours a day with them because you had, you were splitting duties at the 13U as well. Talk about that.
Nah, no doubt, man. And yeah, man. But we had some guys who was coming in and bought into the system and learned the rare breed way. Went through some bumps. Like really, both teams that this team is built upon, like both teams went through bumps, and I think that's part of what's shaping our boys' mentality and where they at right now. Like they don't want to go back to that. They like it
Right.
over here. They like dominating. They like winning. They like knowing that they in position to be national champions. So
So look, if you're in
so
Georgia,
like
man,
they
and you talking about the rare breed brand, what does the rare breed brand stand for? Not just your 10U, but from top to bottom, because we got some 11Us that's ranked as rare breeds, we got some 9Us that's ranked as rare breeds. So this is a young program, but what do you tell these people like when it's part to be a part of rare breeds?
oh man, it's crazy, man, how strong the name is. It really stands and speaks for itself, man. Like really being rare and unique, man, and like something that's uncommon. Like the things we asking like our age groups and coaches to buy into is different. It's not the typical organization. We asking them to buy into a national commitment to travel and spend their money, and parents spend their hard-earned money and really go get this work around the country. So it's rare. It's something that ain't been done. So we trying to step in foreign territory with this one.
So look,
Yeah, yeah.
let's talk about going over to Vegas this weekend. Speaking of traveling, speaking of spending money, y'all spent some money this weekend. Y'all went over there. Talk
For
about the
sure.
first game, man. OG Ducks. Of course, there's another a team with a big brand. Kiwi's done a great job of just really representing that on a national level. Y'all would say both two
No, for
national
sure.
exceptional brands right now. What was the speech you told them kids? Because man, Demarcus, I'm gonna be 100 with you. I watch you all year, fam. I watch you up close in Maryland. I've been up there in Atlanta when you guys were playing, and sometimes the defense may have their lets down. But man, this was a different team against the OG Ducks. That execution was flawless. Tell me what went into the game plan. What was the speech you told these boys to get ready for the Ducks?
Um, man, one thing about these boys, man, like the rareness is real contagious from like their big brother teams, man. So like I think it really has poured into them, man, to be ready for big moments, big games. Like they mentally and physically ready for big games. And the preparation, man. My staff is second to none, man. Like man, we deep for a reason, man. We really lock in and really dissect people right now, man. And the boys do an amazing job at executing the game plans. Like, took man, it was scary, man. We not what we want to be at all.
Right.
Like, our coaches group went crazy over this weekend on stuff we can get a lot better at. So, like, it's rare, man. It's a group of guys who really committed to an amazing group of young men, man, who bust their ass for us, for real. So, like, man, it's good. It's good and fun coming to work with these guys. So, no
So,
doubt.
Demarcus, I know you don't have no favorites on the team. You love them all like your babies, all your kids. But you know, I had two favorite players off your team this year, man. Quarterback of 1,400 watts, man. Special
Yeah,
kids, big time players. Let's talk about your
yeah.
quarterback first, man. We'll talk about number 14 in a second, but man, you get to see him every day in practice. Small in size, biggest surprise every time I do an interview with him because when you see him out of the pads, you wouldn't even think he was a football player on the 10U. But this kid shows up bigger than anybody I've seen. Has he surprised you
Yeah.
with some of the plays he's done yourself?
Man, I can't say he surprised me, man, because man, day one he been that guy right there, man. He's a sponge, man. He remind me a lot of JB, man, our previous quarterback. Like and just his command of it, and like the sponge, he's a sponge with his brain, man, where he soak up everything we throw at him. And even today, man, in practice, like we challenged him on some little new stuff, some new wrinkles, man, and he soaked it up, man. He soaked it up and ready to go with it. Like special kid, man. Like he one of them guys who was there last year and once is so successful in the season, man. So they know what it tastes like to lose. Like they don't want that. They working hard to make sure they stay where they at. So nah, man, special kid.
1,400 watts, man. 10U running back. I can't. I mean, we showing some of the highlights right now. I can't say enough about this kid. What do you think makes him special? You've seen a lot of running backs in your day, man, all the way from the Atlanta Ducks to all ABA. I mean, you've been a part of some prolific programs. What makes this kid a premier running back?
Oh man, the kid has an amazing quick twitch, man, that I ain't really seen at that age. Like just moving in different directions and stuff with little jump cuts and stuff. Great vision, great scrum. Just real knowledgeable of football, like real good football IQ, man. Where you can see in his linebacker play and stuff, man. Where he play with a lot of instincts, man, and just play ball. Him personally, he remind me a lot of Cornelius Hurd, like playing linebacker, man. Like where if he see it and he believe it, man, he go play ball on it, and like we give him that freedom and that lax to kind of be him, as a player. But yeah, man, real special, man. Like he said, man, he the best back in the country, man. 1,400, like shoot, he stand on it. He work hard to wear that title. So,
All right, talking about
so
best in the
yeah,
country,
man.
coach. What's your message to and listen? We keep it uncut here. It's all good. SED Wolverines. You
Hmm.
feel they not worthy of the number one? Is what you feeling based on rank, strength of schedule, taking on games. You feel that they could have been more active. What's your message to the coach? Because he's tuned in right now. I mean, we just keep it all right now. What's the message to coach in the
Hey,
team?
man. Nah, man, I ain't gonna say, they ain't no worthy or number one. I ain't that guy. You know what I mean? I've been in his position before defending the title, and just don't be scared with it, man. Play football. Like, don't hide them boys out there, man. Texas ain't no little short ride for us. We get around like hell. But for me to put Texas on my parents back to back from coming to Vegas, like, yeah, we rare as fuck, but goddamn, now like that's kind of a bit much on my guys, man. And you knew that, you know what I mean? You knew that. You calling me while I'm coming off the field from you just watching the game. Like, come on, man. Don't that's cap. That's what we call that in the city. That's straight cap, man. Like,
So hold
keep
on,
it a buck. Let's set a real date then. Like, shit, this
oh,
event
so
coming
he called you.
next week
He
in
called you when you got
Louisiana.
off the field. He
Yeah,
called you when you got off the
calling me
field,
like,
coach.
man, we no correct. Like you not watching the game just finish. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm in Vegas. I'm going to Vegas right after this Arizona stop right here. We ain't
Right.
we ain't sticking around in Arizona. We went back to Vegas, sir. Like, come on, let's keep it a whole buck. So,
Oh man. Well,
but nah,
you
if
look
you
at
want to
clean
set a
coaches.
November date, if you want to set a November date, we can't wait. November, even next
Call
week,
out
we in
Thursdays right here.
Louisiana. We in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Pull up, meet us right there. Shit,
It
let's
don't get
make
no
it
more
happen.
official than
Can't
that.
wait.
It don't get no more official
Right,
than that. And y'all
right.
all witnessed it right here. Coach DeMarcus of the Rare Breeds calling out the SED Wolverines direct call out. Louisiana, they feeling that vibe. November, they want to get it in. Coach, man, thank you as always putting in time in, and thank you for letting us just really lock in and watch the Rare Breed. It's been a treat all year, man. I'm glad you got a hold of them babies. I didn't know what you was gonna do last year after them 13U boys, man, but I see you was in the lab, just getting it
Nah, man,
tweaked
we
up,
stand
man. And
up. We stand up and do this for real, man. We do this for real. Like I tell you, man, I got a staff like this. They solid, man. They really clock in and dissect these guru coaches out here. So
Man, well,
For
Coach, you already
sure.
know I got your pina colada and everything lined up for the MIAO. You know
Can't
how we do
wait.
it in the 305, fam. So I'll see you down
Can't
here. God
wait,
willing,
man.
y'all keep
Can't
doing
wait.
y'all thing. Yes, sir. And
Oh yeah.
congratulations on an amazing year thus far, man. We look forward to y'all boys doing bigger and better things, man. Thanks for joining us on Uncut. Listen, when we come back, we jumping into 12 and under rankings. We got some more coaches to talk to. That's D Mark representing the Rare Breeds right here on Rankings Uncut.
All right, bet.
Oh. Okay. Ah! Oh. Hey, I'm trying to get crunk. C-R-U-N-K.
Tell them how we gonna come. Tell them why they don't wanna run. Tell them why they better run.
Stand up, make it crunk. Stand up, make it crunk.
Here we come to get you.
Okay.
Here we come to get you. A little bit more. Here we come to get you. You better get. Here we come to get you. A little bit
Hey, welcome back to Rankings Uncut. Of course, Rare Breeds representing undefeated on the season thus far. Man, I got to tell you that the championship YNC is lining up, and it's just really just aligning to be one of the most exciting championships from top to bottom, man. We'll talk about that as we just progress through the show. We're going to continue going through these rankings that we'll release on all our social media platforms. Right now, we're talking 12 and under. Yeah, there's a lot of changes in 12 and under. Some people going to like it and some people not. But as we get closer to championship time, we got to keep it a buck, like Mark said earlier, and then we got to keep it real and give these teams an opportunity to sort it out. But of course, again, we'll have rank up in November where these teams that want to bang it out still have an opportunity to get in these brackets. So 12 and under, without further ado, let's jump right into it. At the number 15 spot, East Metro still has taken a loss recently, dropped. They had a good week the week before, but couldn't maintain it. Tucker Lions, man, was really a top 5 team last year. Just this year, having the last couple of weeks, just having some problems really keeping that offense on the field. And they take another loss. So they dropped to the number 14 position. A team that has turned it around and is really two of the top players at the 12U position at running back and at quarterback, of course, Seth, just leading the Pearland Hurricanes out of Texas at the 13 and under position, just really gelling when it counts. And of course, now let's switch it to the state of Florida, representing Florida. The Orlando Outlaws making some noise, making their first appearance in the rankings. It looks like a solid team that can really push their way to get into the Youth National Championships if things fall their way. There's a lot of playoffs still left. There's Super Bowls that's left. So a lot of these teams will be eliminating themselves as we go or as we get closer to the YNC. At the number 11 spot, this team has not given up. Took some losses early in the season, but has played a tough schedule. And we got to reward those teams that's willing to go out there and play ranked teams. We can't shun away from it. Let's say a team takes a ranked loss. We can't say, oh, you lost to a ranked team and get you out of there when another team has not even, just like I said, taken on those challenges. So we pay attention to each and every one of those games. Strength of schedule counts. At the number 11 position, Cincinnati Bearcats Elite, pushing their way back into the rankings, making some noise. Of course, Carroll City Chiefs, the Golden Armies, we know the talent that's on this team. We see the battle that goes between in their particular league against the Lauderhill Lions. The Golden Army always has to go through the Lions. I told you last week on the show, it's probably one of my favorite neighborhood rivalries. Why? I'm not going to exaggerate the number. A minimum of 5,000 people come out and watch that game. They held this game at a high school a couple weeks ago or a month ago. The fire marshal had to shut it down. They wouldn't let any more people inside of the game. That is what brings out they bring out the city between the Golden Army and Lauderhill Lions year in, year out. And they always play for the championship, always. And now so they're at the number 10 position. But reason they're not high, even though they're in a dogfight with Lauderhill Lions, they got to get those national reps. Got to get the national reps. Do we feel that there's 9 teams, 10 teams better than them? Probably not, but we still got to give credit to those teams that's playing those national games. All right, hey, right in front of the Golden Army at the number 9 position, Southfield Falcons. Listen, Falcons are a tough team. I've seen them in person. They win any and everywhere. The only losses they have are to the Louisville Chargers. Louisville Chargers happen to be the number 1 team in the country. So shout out to the Southfield Falcons. I expect those guys to really just keep making noise all the way into the end of the season. District Heights Chief really started out strong this early in the season. Took a couple losses lost to the Louisville Chargers, lost recently to CBE. Listen, a team that's still super dangerous. District Heights Chiefs, tough 12 and under team. Team that is a dark horse. Nobody knows them. Team that they're first coming out. They haven't seen them play. Love this team out of Florida. The Cypress Lake Hornets, a dark horse. A lot of athletes on the team. Solid defense and some big-time athletes. Now, this team, active, playing national teams. Got to love these boys. They're representing coming out of North Carolina at the number 6 position. The SRT boys, North Carolina Giants. Got to love the SRT teams. Look for them to be making a strong push in the YNC. Another dark horse. Don't sleep on those Giants. Coming out, of course, on the West Coast, they played the number 2 team, lost big to the DEA, but there's not a lot of teams we feel in our committee that is better than this Cali Bears. A solid team. They are a defending champ from where they come from. They have a pedigree of winning. We got to respect that. Cali Bears at the number 5. Now going to the Georgia, of course. The Georgia, I want to say, is a gauntlet. Georgia competition at the 12U, you got to go through East Metro Steelers. You got to go through ABA. You got to go through RDU. You got to play all these 12U teams to just really come out and get some type of footing on a national scale. Look out for the ABA Bulldogs at the 4 spot. Of course, this team we just talked about, Lauderhill Lions, a couple years ago were the national champions until Louisville Chargers coming on. So they know what it takes to win this. They've been just really taking their time to taking these wins one by one, traveling. They went up to CBE, gave CBA their loss, all the way up in Cincinnati. They've been just really just climbing back into the national picture. Lauderhill Lions climbed all the way back from number 11 back to the number 3 spot, just waiting their turn and playing solid football. Defeated the Golden Armies by a score of 1 point, but a big win over nonetheless over their neighborhood rivalry. That's like old Florida State and UM when it used to mean something. Both of those teams, man, I'm sorry I even mentioned them right now, college football. But listen, at the number 2 spot, you guys seen them play last week. They played in just a dominant fashion every time they take the football field. DEA, of course, Dragon Elite Academy out of Texas. Really taking no prisoners. Big win last week. Played 2 teams, went to the West Coast, and nothing's new for them. This is a team that has a lot of weapons. They spread the football field. Of course, Booby's one of the premier players, but they have a lot more than him. You'll have to defend a lot of athletes to come out with the win over DEA out of Texas. Of course, like I tell you, this bracket is shaping up to be something special in the YNC. Of course, the reigning champs, the undefeated teams, and as I tell you, as the number 1 team, you're going to get everybody's best shot. And this team has been fighting injuries during the regular season, but they have no reason to make excuses. They haven't taken a loss. The Louisville Chargers out of Kentucky. Louisville Chargers back-to-back champs. They won a 3-peat this year. Can they 3-peat? Well, they got to make sure they're healthy coming into the postseason. They got to make sure they're healthy once they get in the YNC, because I can tell you, no matter who plays in what seeding, as you guys hear from just what I just told you, and you'll look at the rankings as we post them up tonight, that 12U bracket, bro, there's no break. You're not going to get a free game where you say, you know what, even the number 1 team, if the number 1 team jumped out right now, they would come out playing District Heights Chiefs, which they played earlier this year. That was a close game. DEA would come out playing Southfield Falcons right off rip. Lauderhill Lions would play Lauderhill Lions would play SRT Giants. They're familiar with each other. They've played each other a couple years in a row. ABA Bulldogs played Cali Bears. This is if it all what ifs right here. So there's a lot of different things that could change. You got CBE that's right on the cusp of trying to push their way in. Got the Orlando Outlaws at the number 12, Pearland Hurricanes at the 13. So a lot of things can happen at that 12 and under. But I got to tell you, at the 11 and under, and guys, I was supposed to have a good talk with Lambeau head coach, but man, I'm going to put you out there, Coach Howard. Howard's still trying to rock those flip Nokia phones, and that's just not going to get it. when you're trying to do, a little video feed, how, man, step up your game. Get you at least an iPhone or Android. That Nokia flip phone ain't going to get it, bro. I know you're old school, and I respect that. But I don't think that beeper you have is going to really produce video as well. So I'm going to just say, kill the beeper. Leave the beeper. Don't bring in the national championships. Next time I see you, I don't want to see that flip Nokia, so we can get you on here, man, because people want to talk to you. They want to talk to you, Coach Howard. It's a lot going on at that 9 and under at Lambeau. And when we get to 9 and under, man, that was a wild, wild west this weekend. But, man, I'm rolling right now. I'm not going to keep y'all on here long tonight. I want to get in and check on my homeboy Clay's son to make sure he's good. So let me jump into these comments real quick. Let me see if I can just see what y'all boys talking about. Anthony McGraw said ABA is garbage. He don't really feel him, That's why these guys got to play. You got to get out there and get it. And then we all talking about Howard flip phone. Hey, listen, man. If y'all would like, we'll probably do next week a what do you do when you we'll do a little cash app for Howard to just get out that Nokia Vibe phone era, you know what I'm saying? We'll give him one of those track phones. So this is something that we want to make sure that we can go ahead and get Howard back on track. So look, let's get to this 11 and under action real quick, man. 11 and under, we're going to start at the 15th position. Team that just took a loss, ranked higher this week, and they're lucky to even still be at the 15th position. The Louisville Grizzlies probably has one of what we call one of the most talented players at the 11 and under. I love the kid stinker, but it's going to take more than him to compete on a national level. So Louisville Grizzlies coming in at the number 15 position. Of course, out of New Jersey, representing at the 14th position, Brick City Lions. And at the number 13 position, of course, talking about the state of North Carolina, once again, the North Carolina Giants coming in at the 13th position. And out of Texas, Pac Prime Wolves. Saw these guys up close when I was in Texas, watched them play a lot of offense and a lot of defense. I like this Pac Prime Wolves team out of Texas. Then, surprisingly, all the way down at the 11 and under, this team has not seen this position in forever. Looking up like a tall mountain right now, looking up. Surprisingly, RDU out of Georgia at the 11th position. We haven't heard that in a while. That team has been not only in the top 5, they've been the number 1 ranked team for the last couple years, winning back to back to back. This year, they have some things that they got to work on. We can say what we want to think it is. We can say we can all have these talks online about it. We can get on the shows and try to chop it up. Hey, what's going on with RDU? But at the end of the day, you got to win football games. RDU, of course, the defending national champ from last year, has taken some crucial losses. Lost to the OG Ducks, DMV Knights. Controversial when they say back and forth with running clock, not 4 quarters of football. But then you play inside of your own neighborhood, you lose to the rare breeds 11 and under. So some concerns in RDU land, yes. Can they bounce back from them? Yes. It's October. But they'll need to start making that mountain climb now if they want to see some daylight into the national championship. At the number 10 position, the Carroll City Chiefs. Listen, Carroll City Chiefs loaded at talent, loaded with a lot of different players. We feel they can beat a lot of teams on this list. Chiefs got to get out and play some national games before they can even get up any higher. And I tell you, if RDU gets a couple of more matchups or Pac Prime nationally, you're going to see movement throughout all the age groups with no hesitation. So right now it's all about getting these teams and getting out and playing. Now, let's address a couple of things about number 1 teams as we well, you know what? I'm going to finish this ranking, but we're going to address, so I'll keep this on my mind. So at the number 9 position, Arizona Suns representing, of course, Arizona, obviously, coming in. They played the number 1 team in the nation, probably as best as anybody I've seen the OG Ducks have a game. So the Arizona Suns coming in at the number 9. Playmakers Elite, another team coming down. As a matter of fact, they were ranked up in the top 6 before. Listen, Playmakers Elite, they got to get some games. Teams that aren't getting these national playoff games or national wins, they're going to just kind of go the opposite way. And it is what it is. Nothing personal. Just got to play football. Number 7, big win over the Louisiana Grizzlies, getting back on track. They call them the Bram Chargers out of Alabama, Birmingham Chargers. They're going to take on another national ranked team this weekend, the West Orlando Jaguars. So shout out to those teams trying to get national games on the regular. We can appreciate those teams trying to get in that work. Coming in at the number 6 position now, had some big games over Pac Prime earlier this year, beating ranked teams that just really solid. Shout out to Coach Fred and those guys at the San Antonio Outlaws at the number 6 position. And, of course, the West Orlando Jaguars, a very talented team. They beat the Rare Breeds earlier this year. But now Rare Breeds just climbed, knocked off the number 2 or number 3 team in the nation. Rare Breeds jumped the Jaguars, but the strength of schedule, Rare Breeds at the number 4. St. Louis Bad Boys at the number 3. Coach was on last week, and we have also challenged St. Louis Bad Boys. You're on the clock, Bad Boys. We got to get those national games in, or these teams that's putting in the work with Rare Breeds and Outlaws and the Chargers all get national games. Look for these 11U rankings to be constantly changing as these teams are playing their national schedule. At the number 2 position, the DMV Knights, getting back there by default. Team getting knocked off right in front of them puts them right back into the number 2 position where they started from. And, of course, the OG Ducks being dominant all year, going into Georgia, playing. They didn't try to schedule a number 4 game or number 5 game. They went in, they scheduled games, played a tournament down at RDU, played every team they could really play, flew back across on the East Coast just to play the DMV Knights to really establish their dominance. So shout out to these teams that go travel into someone's home and knock them off. You can't really fault a team of doing that. So listen, if you're a number 1 team or a high-ranked team, we get the call and saying, hey, listen, man, we're trying to play them. We're trying to come into their city. You got a couple of options in as that number 1 team. You take the game because you're home. There's no reason not to take it. I don't care if it's number 10 or number 12 or 13. You saying, hey, man, we're going to fly up on a Sunday. We want to come play the number 1 or number 2 team. Figure it out. Or you're not worthy of that number 1 in our eyes, because it's not just about establishing the number 1 position and riding out with it. It's a constant journey to show that you are the best in the country. It's like a heavyweight fighter. Mike Tyson didn't get the belt and just say, man, I'm going to go ahead and chill. Mike Tyson made sure that he worked for that work. So that is what we'll say in regards to number 1 teams accepting challenges. If a team is coming to your neighborhood, coach, you got to play it. Or just go ahead and take that belt off and just set it down, let somebody else get it who wants to be active. Now, if you're a challenging team and you say, man, we want the number 1 spot. We want the number 1 spot. Man, if you're a traveling team and you've traveled elsewhere, bruh, you all got options. We can't tell you where to play. You are the owner of your own team. You are the head coach. You're the CEO of your own place. But don't complain to us if you're playing everybody else but the number 1 team. Because and this is no regards or no shots to nobody we're talking about. This is in general from 14U to 6U. So this is just how it works. So y'all can just stop hitting me up or hitting us up, talking about, well, Clay is from Texas and he's going to protect it. Well, I'm not from Texas and Clay doesn't do rankings. So let's clear that up. Clay gets on here and he discussed what the rankings are over the seedings for the YNT, but let's clear it up. Clay, I know you're watching this. I hope your son hands are feeling better, wrist feeling better. Clay does not do rankings. So Clay can't protect no Texas teams, no Florida teams, no California teams. I don't coach. Nobody on our committee coach. We don't have a dog in the fight. If you're talking about, it's a home team. So, okay, I'm from Florida. Show me the number 1 Florida team from 6U to 14U. Stop painting a narrative to conveniently fit your team and get your parents on that. So I'm going to kill this all on Uncut. Stop getting your parents hyped. Oh, they protecting this city. Man, play football. Bruh, when you feel it's safe, you book the tickets before we can even finish Uncut. Y'all on the plane, y'all there. But damn, how they got there so quick? When you don't feel safe, you ain't booking them tickets. You know what you do? You get on here, hey, man, well, we played the number 8 team and the number 5 team and the 2 team, so that should make us number 1. No, we ain't doing arithmetic like that, bro. Want the number 1 spot, go punch them people in the mouth. It's simple. Just like the OG Ducks did. Just like Keefe attempted to do at the 8U. He went to go play number 1 and 2. It ain't work out for him, but God bless him. Air. Hey, man, where is that? SCD? They in Texas? Where they at? Bro, just go out there and play the team so we don't have to go ahead and figure out, well, the strength of schedule really says we should be the number 1 team. Man, the people won a national championship. They're not struggling weekly. They're doing what a number one team's supposed to do. So if a team is locked into a league, we know leagues really kind of change this year. And I'm not defending nobody, but I'm just telling you from a ranking standpoint, I could care less the team. I don't have no investment in a team. I don't rock with no team. I see all these teams for the last 6-7 years since we've been doing the national championships. Generation X been around since 2008. I can't even keep up with teams since we've been like awarding Dalvin Cook, our first Heisman back in 2008. So don't get it twisted with me. I just want you guys to know so you can have information. So if you want a number one team spot and you got options, hey, well, I'm going to travel to 4 different cities this year. Well, I want to go here. I think this is going to be a great experience for our kid here. I want to go here because I want to go ahead and hang out to the beach. And hold on, where that number one team at? Oh, and we go in there so we can punch them people in the mouth. Ain't nothing to talk about. When you punch them people in the mouth, you got that number one. But if you don't have that number one team has not lost, it's not going to work by an arithmetic unless that number one team is playing bad and they barely winning. They come out there winning 17-16 or 6-0, and you balling, yeah, we got an argument. But if they're the number one team and they're playing their regular schedule and they blowing people out 60-0, 40-0, 60-0, then you got to go play them. We're not protecting them. We're not protecting. Go play them people. But don't ask us to strip a number one team because you want to go play somebody else. Don't ask us to do that. Don't put us in a position to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, no. If you're a number one team and somebody challenges you and they come into your hood and you don't want to play them, you're getting stripped to number one. Bottom line, quick, fast, boom. That phone call comes, hey, yeah, I'm calling from such and such. We trying to play these boys. They're the number one team. Coach, could you put on the three-way? Hey, yeah, man, well, we don't got no room to play them right now. Our schedule busy. You know, we playing during the season. Man, y'all can play on Sunday. No, man, you kind of be, all right, coach, don't even worry about it. Hey, we good. Hey, man, move them up, move them up. They're the number one team. That's how that works. But if y'all playing everybody else but the number one team, bro, don't put that on us, man. Go play the people. Simple. So we over that. Just want to let you know how that works because a lot of people want to get on here, start talking about why they should be the number one team. And I'm not talking about my homeboy who just got off there too, but you know, you got some people that's, hey man, we should be the number one team. Blah, blah, blah. Try to take over the show. You know who I'm talking about too, man. I just thought about you. You just popped up in my head since I'm going to 10 you. Man, hey, anyway, let's go, man. So I'm not even looking at all these messages. So, and stop saying that. What if they don't play nobody? Listen. Okay, let me put it this way. Because y'all probably, as youth football fans, I'm just going to keep it real because I see it all the way around the country. Youth football and youth sports in general is hyper-local. And what do I mean by hyper-local? You follow your team. You watch their videos. You watch their YouTube. You may catch a highlight of a team that you're trying to get with. Highlights ain't a football game. So stop saying if they ain't play nobody. Have you broke down the teams? When, as a matter of fact, the next person that texts me and put that in the comments, when you're talking about they ain't play nobody, then break down the teams. Break down the scores. Break down the teams they played. Break down the teams that they played against. Because until you know that, then you just really just talking because you've seen everybody else do it. That's just like when COVID came out and everybody started buying toilet tissue. I went inside of the grocery store, toilet tissue was gone. I'm like, bro, hold on, COVID, toilet tissue. Like, what? Is this like something that's going to have people having diarrhea? Like, why is all the toilet tissue going? I don't understand it. But because everybody else saw toilet tissue. Man, toilet tissue companies came up. Stocks went through the roof for COVID for toilet tissue. So when somebody starts seeing, oh, man, hey, man, they ain't play nobody, then everybody starts saying they ain't play nobody. And I'm not defending nobody. But if they're playing and they blowing out people, you're doing what number one team's supposed to do. For example, Rare Breeds 13U last year, they was blowing people out. They was blowing people out. They were inviting people out of Atlanta. They was coming out of Atlanta. You want us to take a number one? Oh, man, I used to get complaints about Rare Breeds. Man, we ain't going to Atlanta. We ain't playing them people. Mark and them ain't going nowhere next year. Bro, they the number one team, bro. Go. If you feel you got that squad, pull up. Pull up. And they defended their championship all the way to the end of the year. So all I'm saying, again, I'll say it slow. You can screen record it. You can play it, put it on your social media, put it on your Instagram, however you want to do it. So everybody get ready. Get the screen record again. Let's explain it. If you want the number one spot, it's an easy challenge. Coach, we come into your city to punch you in your mouth. What day can we come? Then people refuse it, they getting stripped. Simple. Simple. Don't give me, oh, Jonah, you pay for our traveling because my parents don't want to travel. Bro, y'all travel everywhere else. But you knew they wasn't the number one team before you got on the plane. Nobody pulled a gun out and said, get on these planes. You playing number 18 right now. What is that going to get you? Number 7? It's simple. You knew. You knew. You're the CEO of your team. Lead your people like Moses led his people to the number one spot. Take your cane out, part the Red Sea, and go punch some people in the mouth. We're going to have these conversations. You understand what I'm saying? So, all that being said and done, I don't mean to be so passionate about it. Y'all know I'm usually chill week in and week out, but I think it needs to be addressed because I'm seeing this era of nobody playing nobody type of vibe. If they're not playing anybody, then you should feel super confident to work it out and go punch some people in the mouth. Don't give me the speech that we need to play for your trips and we need to reimburse it because you guys already traveled. Be strategic of who you play if the number one spot is your goal right now. If you're good with, hey, I just want to get a shot at the people when they get down to the national championship, then see them at the national championship. Handle that. But if the goal now is to wear number one on your back, then it's simple. It's simple. And how sweet would that be? Well, if I want the number one spot and I come in your city and I take that, boy, that ain't nothing better than that, bro. Your fans out there looking spooked, looking crazy. I'm going back on the plane with that number one spot. It's love. But I love all my people, man. I appreciate y'all just letting me vent that out real quick. Now, further ado, number 10, 10 and under. At the number 15 spot, Cypress Hornets out of Florida. Cypress Lakes Hornets coming in at that number 15 spot. At the number 14 spot, U-City Hit Squad coming out, of course, out of Missouri. 13 and under, Playmakers Elite coming in at the number 13 spot. Man, OG Ducks took one on the chin, but they stood in tight. They ended up playing Rare Breeds tight. Like I said, Rare Breeds said they wanted to work on a couple of things, but they really wanted to go after Rare Breeds. Tight game, man. OG Ducks still holding it down at number 12. Of course, at the number 11, Southfield Falcons. We mentioned their name again. The 10U and the 12U, special teams. Special teams. Now, this is where I was arguing in the room with everybody. I didn't agree with this. Now, I know they probably ain't going to like me. It's cool, but tonight, it's about it. I don't know what I'm feeling. It's a revelation tonight. I'm just letting it all out. I respect the coach and what they do and what they stand for. Let's get that out of the way. Because it's everything we're talking about. They embraced it. They went and played the number one team. You understand what I'm saying? But they took 3 losses, and that got to count for something. But then the argument is, okay, they took a loss to all top 5 teams. They took a team. They lost against the Rare Breeds not too long ago. Rare Breeds, all top 5. They lost against the number 1 team in the nation. They lost against Northside Pride. So in the top 5 in the nation, who's going out there and playing these games and going out there and competing like that? You know what I'm saying? To me, 3 losses. It's hard for me to kind of stand on that. I think teams that are undefeated have an opportunity to be in front of them. But also I understand the argument of them playing. Well, listen, how can you reward teams if they're gonna get on the planes and do exactly what we tell them to do, go out there and compete, and you don't reward them? Then who's gonna go and play? Hey man, I'm gonna lose in the number 1 team. I ain't going to play. So to me, it's up in the air. Y'all drop y'all opinion. Air at number 10 after losing to the Rare Breeds in a tight game. Number 9, Progress Village Panthers out of Florida. Number 8, Red Dog Unit, a team that is feast or famine. We knew in the preseason they showed us a different card all the way up until just recently playing Falcons United. I think personally, Falcons United 10U is the most improved team from preseason to now throughout any age division. I don't care. I'm just not talking 10U. I'm going to just keep it a buck. From 6U to 14U, what Coach Sean has done with that team, from now to then, no coach has done with their team. I'm just being one, and I've seen them all. All we do all week is sit and scout. So the games that we don't get to is film. All the way from the offensive line play, all the way to the skill positions, to the quarterback, to defense. Nobody has done what Falcons United has done, in my opinion. That's my opinion. So let's just keep going back up here. So we said Red Dog Unit, they beat Falcons United early in preseason. Couldn't pull it off. Wasn't close the second time or the third time they played in the season. Why? You say, well, why did Falcons United have to kind of climb back in the thing? So I'm not going to let coaches kind of set the narrative. Talking about, well, preseason doesn't count. This is not the NFL. preseason does count because we are really assessing to teams to see where we can rank you throughout the season to start off. Now, is that going to win you a championship? Absolutely not. Nobody won nothing, absolutely nothing in July and August. But once these teams compete and they win head to head, if you play me and I play you on 4 quarters of football, it just shows you're better than me. I don't care that it's August. Should we just close our eyes and say the game never took place? Nah, man, that ain't count, bro. Because, just kind of feel this out to see who we got. No, it's football. Once you blow that whistle, that's the only thing we have to judge it. We don't have our opinions. We don't have what we can just say, man, I just think he better than that. No, man, head-to-head is the ultimate decision-making of where teams end up. So head-to-head, 2 out of 3 games, RDU has beaten Falcons United. So you just got to keep that in mind, regardless of what narrative is going to be painted. Preseason, all y'all just throw that up. Now, like I said, no one's done what Falcons United has done as a coaching staff with their team now. To see where they were then to now, man, Falcons United, to me right now, and I no disrespect to RDU, just head over heels right now, a better team. Falcons United is probably one of the hottest 10U teams in the country now of executing and playing football. From the last time they took on the football field, I don't know if there's a hotter team right now than Falcons United. All right, so let's just keep going. At the 7, Miami Gardens Ravens. Listen, you guys said, hey, they haven't played a team with a lot of tradition at the Ravens. Of course, the coaching staff that just like did from the 13U with Coach Mark. This is the same coaching staff that used to be on the Purple Machine, the 13 and under back-to-back national champions. Coach Rob Mack and his squad and his team, they've all come down to this Miami Gardens Ravens team, a dark horse. Don't sleep on them, but they'll have to come through, or they'll have to go through the team that's ranked in front of them. The Lauderdale Lakes, a.k.a. the ABG boys out of Lauderdale. Listen, this Lauderdale team is a very special team, a solid defense, fast, a lot of speed. You may have not seen them on all the YouTubes and everything like this. Look for this ABG team to make some serious noise. They might be the FYFL champs coming out of Florida and come out there and really compete for a national championship. Of course, the Northside Pride Black went up to Air, defeated Air. Northside Black has been a team that's been dominant all the way from the preseason and now. Look for them to continue to be dominant. Of course, you'll see them down if they win the championships. That should be the team that really represents that particular region coming down and representing the YNC. Bessemer Tigers, man, tough team. When it comes to all these teams that you're talking about playing rare breeds, FU, Bessemer Tigers are right up there with them talent-wise. Bessemer Tigers, to me, is one of those teams that can beat any team in the country on any given day at the number 4 position. Now, here when we get to the top 3 teams in the country. Let me see, we got people just logged on here. They want to hear this. Top 3 teams in the country. Well, you already know how we feel about going and knocking somebody off. I just told you not too long ago, I personally feel there's not a hotter team right now. What does that mean, hot? What do you mean hot? Okay, I'm going to explain to you what I mean hot. Execution-wise, buy-in-wise, the players buying in. Like, their walk is different. And I noticed this because I flew out to California to watch the Falcons United play in California, 2 games. So when I flew out there, I'm like, man, I've seen Sean has little struggles. First half kind of started like that. Second half, something clicked for them. They haven't looked back. Rare Breach, you guys just saw them against this weekend. Two strong teams, OG Ducks, played against Air. But it just kind of should show you where all this level of competition can really change for anybody. You can say, yeah, Rare Breed should be number 2 in the country. Well, Rare Breeds was in a dog fight with Air. So, I mean, what are you really telling me? Football is football. You got to play the game. Rankings just kind of give us an idea of where these teams are at. And ultimately, it's up to those kids. It ain't up to the coaches. Coaches got to make some calls. It's up to those kids. Those kids at 11 at a time got to go out there and play football. Sometimes they prove us guys who do these rankings right. Sometimes we look crazy. You feel me? So at the number 3 position, Falcons United, because Rare Breeds went out there on a national thing and just tore it up and played on. They jumped them this week. Falcons United was number 2 last week. Rare Breeds goes to the number 2 this week. Southeast Dallas Wolverines still the number 1 team in the country. Hey, listen, I don't want to hear an argument. Go there and punch them people in the mouth, man. Get a date, make it happen. Hey, Coach SED, I would tell y'all, get over to Louisiana, Halloween, accept those bids, play some football. If we start seeing all this denying, yeah, we'll shuffle it up. We'll make some people chase. But right now, I think you look at that top brackets, that might be a team that you got to go to 10 brackets. It's all going to take care of itself. Like you're talking about SED, Wolverines. You're talking about Rare Breeds, Falcons United, Bessemer, Northside, Lauderdale, Miami Gardens, Red Dog, potentially Progress Village, Air. That's going to work itself out. It's going to be who coaches the best and which kids can really just go back-to-back games, man, and play football. So just a little old school in that point. You got to knock the champs off to grab it. I know they're saying they don't play anybody. They're playing weekly in their league, and they're dominating and winning by an average of 6 touchdowns. They haven't lost. They haven't struggled. And like I said, it will facilitate anybody to play them. Get out there because we want to see the games. All right, well, we won't revisit what we talk about that. 9 and under. This was a melee this weekend, bro. Man, I just, if you are a person that just follows youth football, you're like, man, how many different teams are going to beat each other? So I'm watching this game. I'm seeing the OG Ducks knock off the crew. Man, OG Ducks, man, them boys live. They sticking. Boy, I'm just super impressed. So, but we had them at the number 2 position already. So we knew they were a good team. But, man, not a day later, Sin City knocks them off. Hold on, Sin City? We had Sin City ranked at number 15. So, again, we want to be right as ranking guys. Oh, number 2 playing number 15. This should be a blowout. This should be the you got to play the game, bro. You got to play the game. You can call out this team all you want, call everybody you want. Oh, yeah, we were number 2, y'all. Because of what I see a lot online, I'm not even going to front. I see this a lot online. Oh, man, we ranked in the top 5. We ain't playing y'all. Y'all number 13. We don't got nothing to win by playing y'all. We don't got, shoot, okay, let us get involved in that. And number 13 want to come to your house. Who are you not to take on the game if it's on a Sunday, bro? Just go ahead and get into work. But imagine if the OG Ducks had that type of attitude. You couldn't have that attitude because they came in there and they knocked off the number 2 team in the nation. Little number 15. So let's just go ahead and break this number 9 down, man. Let's go. Take off at the number 15 position. RDU coming in at number 15 out of Georgia. Out of Texas, Pearland Hurricanes representing the Texas brand. Of course, a lot of competition out of Texas this year at a 9 and under. Right above them, the Renegade Colts. Now, a team that I really like that's coming out of Louisiana, I saw them play when I went out to Texas to watch the teams play. They came up a little short against these boys over here. A great game. Head coach by a female. Listen, this girl can call some plays. Not only is she a head coach, she's the OC. Coach Erica Rice. Weiss doing it big for the Louisiana Wave. Want to see them boys and see if they can compete, get in the rank up, see if they can get in those top teams. Of course, out of number 11 out of Missouri, the NTB Bad Boys representing at number 11. Of course, team that was ranked up higher, man, they took another L. Lucky to be there, and they're at the cusp of being out of the top 10. Texas Crew. They've taken L's repeatedly, and there's another one that I sat down with the crew with, and I'm like, listen, this is a team that you got to give other teams opportunity right now. They got to play their way back in. So we'll keep evaluating that. We'll see what goes on this week. But, right now, if they played national championship, Crew wouldn't be in it because they've taken the losses. And you got to reward the teams that's going out there and winning, and you got to go ahead and deduct the teams that's going out there and losing. So right as they stand, they are outside looking in. Above them, of course, they were at number 2 this week, took a loss to a number 15 team. OG Ducks at the number 9 position. Of course, the team that beat them, they're right in front of them right this week, head-to-head competition. There's nothing like it. Sin City Tritons at the number 8 position. Of course, at the number 9 position, representing out of the D.C. area, those boys, the DMV Knights, bringing it in and representing for the DMV area. Of course, coming out of Florida right now, representing at the number 6 this number 6 spot for the 9U and under, Duval Jaguars. Gotta love those boys, an aggressive team, a lot of athletes that fly to the ball. Tough team that made it to the second round last year at the YNT. Great elite out of New York, representing them boys from up top. Really representing coming in at the top 5. At the number 4 position, just a default with all these 9Us losing this week, the Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes are right back in the top 5 again with one loss to the Hot Boys earlier this year. Made it to just came up last year in the YNC short against the Crew. When it came to a controversial call, one play separated them from advancing to the next round. And, of course, at the number 3 position back in Texas, TNS Cougars, man, this has been one of the most impressive 9Us I've seen this year that I'm really going to think going to shake things up in the YNC. TNS Cougars, if you haven't seen them play, Google. Get on Google, get on YouTube. TNS Cougars has a squad. Look for them to really shake it up in the YNC. And, of course, the Hot Boys with a big win over Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes, being undefeated on the season. This is a tough team. Big back, a big team. I love this 9U for their size. I think they just kind of wear down you in 4 quarters. Coming in the number 2 spot, the Hot Boys, Miami Garden Chiefs. And, of course, still at the number 1 that we've been a little concerned, maybe it's the Nokia service that's going on. For the last 2 weeks, and we're keeping our eye on the Jaguars. It's still Lambeau. They're the number 1 team, and I understand the number 1 team is going to get everybody's best shot, and I get you. But the number 1 team, and they've played a lot, and here's why it's going to be hard to you can't really toy with Lambeau, because if you look at their preseason and their regular season schedule, there's nobody who's done or played more teams outside of their state and their county than Lambeau. But teams are just kind of seeing like they're keying on. And I know Tucker's tough, but they gave him a dogfight. They were trailing the entire game until the 4th quarter. But that's what championship teams do. They come out, they win, they win when it counts, and they pull it out. They pull the rabbit out of the hat, so they're still undefeated. Trying to get back on track. They lost the Crew in the championship last year. Crew's outside looking in right now. Lambeau is in the driver's seat at the number 1 position, and they've been doing this majority all season. They'll take on the lesser seed to start off the YNC. And, guys, when we come back, man, I got 8, 7, and 6. We're going to wrap up tonight. Again, y'all put prayers up for Clay's son. Broke his wrist at senior night in his high school football game. So, of course, him and I will be chopping it up on the regular. He'll be back next week. But we're going to let y'all get out of here early. We're going to come right back with 8, 7, and 6. And these are the teams that's fighting their way to be in the YNC when we come back right here on Rankins Uncut.
Come on, man. You got 2 hands. 2 hands.
I'm putting that work, young nigga living his dreams. I came out them trenches like Sting. Remember them days when I used to sit on them swings and watch niggas dealing the fiends. They served to my mama, wish I had a burner to pop them. You don't know the feeling it brings. I felt like the Hawk, I used to have rips in my jeans, but I had to get to the green. I smile at the eyes because I'm anointed with God. The devil can't get in between. Gripping my chrome while I sit on my throne. Tell them niggas, come on, ain't no killing the king. You'll die in the summer for talking that shit in the spring. So slow down like you sipping that lean. If you ain't from here, you the visiting team. You gon' leave in the stretcher, ain't no limousine, huh? Brace yourself for the truth, it may hurt a bit. The good thing about pain is you learn from it.
Hey, welcome back to Rankins Uncut. Of course, we're wrapping up the rankings right now with 8, 7, and 6. Basically, our countdown, we're going to jump right into it. Of course, at the 8 and under, at the 15 position, Louisville Dolphins out of Kentucky. And, of course, at the 14 position, Mob Squad Tigers out of Tennessee. And listen, I got to tell you, these teams out of New York, again, pressing, trying to get in. Great Elite out of New York at the 13 and under. And, of course, at the Virginia representation, the Virginia State Renegades coming in at number 12. Of course, coming out of Louisiana once again, Louisiana Titans coming in at the 11 and under. And out of Oklahoma, More Truth rounding out the top 10. So now we start focusing on these top 9 teams that's really, one team looking in and the rest of the teams really just trying to push their brackets and trying to hold on all the way into the end of the season. The Wahoma Seminoles out of Alabama coming in at number 9, and Tarrant City Tide out of the same state. These teams got to play each other, so we got to see what's going to happen between the Wahoma Seminoles and Tarrant City Tide. Tarrant City Tide at the number 8 position. Coming in at number 7, representing Texas, Pat Prime. Big kids, big players. That's the team that I really want to see how they're going to line up this year. Pac Prime out of Texas at number 7. The 8 and under OG Ducks. Now listen, you guys say, hey, they took 2 losses this weekend. Well, who did they lose to? The number 1 and number 2 team in the nation. They flew across the country and took on the best. They didn't shun around it. They didn't say, let me go find number 5, number 6, number 7. They went and played number 1 and number 2 and came up a little short. But the second game, listen, they lost by a point. A point. Was winning the entire game 6-0. Listen, Twin City was able to go ahead and put up the touchdown and the extra point to win in the fourth quarter. But it was hard for them to get the ball off the entire time. Now you also talk about the number 5 team in the nation. Right now, the Lauderdale Lakes 8 and under team, a special squad. I look for these boys to be very aggressive. I look for them to actually win, maybe, well, I won't say win. They got to go. It's 2 teams in the FYFL that have to compete to get to the next level, and that's Lauderdale Lakes, and they'll got to play the Miami Garden Ravens. That is a special matchup, another neighborhood rivalry in the brewing. But right now, Lauderdale Lakes coming in at the number 5. And at the number 4 spot, Duval Jags coming in at number for the 8U at the number 4 spot. I love the Duval Jags to come in and play for any and everybody. I think the Jags have enough to win a national championship this year. And of course, a team that a lot of people feel they won a championship in another division last year, a team that's super special, the Miami Gardens Ravens at the number 3 position. And of course, this is what everybody was talking about, the number 1 and number 2 team this year. Or this week, you look at the 2 games. You look at 2 teams that played the OG Ducks just this past weekend. One team, Georgia Eagles, came out there and they really just put up a lot of points on the Ducks on their first game. Ducks came off playing fresh. After Ducks kind of got settled in, they played Twin City Outlaws tight to the very last 2 or 2.5 minutes of the game. So a team that just looked who would be representing of the number 1 team, what was the best team in the nation playing top 5 competition. We finally got to see that head-to-head. Of course, coming at the number 2 position at the 8 and under this week will be the Twin City Outlaws, and a new number 1 team at the 8 and under this week, the Georgia Eagles. Georgia Eagles just really came out there. They played all out the entire weekend and just kind of separated themselves of just what a number 1 team offense would look like. Does Twin City still have a chance to get back? Yeah, these teams got to see each other. So right now, 2 best teams coming out of the 8 and unders coming out of Georgia, Twin City and Georgia Eagles. So this team for the first time has traded the number 1 and number 2 position. All right, getting to the number 7 and under teams right now, the top 15 teams. Of course, 11 through 15 are the teams on the rising. Of course, we'll have our top 10 teams, 1 through 10. At the number 15 position for the 7 and under, the Oxford Circle Raiders out of Pennsylvania. And of course, at the 14 and under, the GTM Hurricanes out of Florida, really representing at that 14 spot. And of course, the Crescent City Chargers out of Louisiana representing at the 13 spot. Coming in at number 12 out of Kansas, Wichita Cowboys representing the Midwest. And out of Maryland, the Playmakers Elite Bears. Coach Jawan is doing amazing things with this team. A lot of speed, a lot of excitement. I really want to see these boys make it down to the YNC. I think they have the special talent to do it. So we'll see again how this all shapes out. 7U and 6U are one of those brackets that we're really considering getting a lot of teams in there so they can kind of shake it out over that particular week. And coming in at the 10 and under out of Louisiana, New Orleans Dolphins. They have the winning pedigree. Last year, the 6 and under, they were super special, trying to get things back and running, but they are back in the top 10, so they're making their appearance in the top 10 for 7 and under. And coming in at the number 9 team, the SED Wolverines coming in out of Texas, trying to represent for their big brothers that's on the 10U. SED Wolverines really looking special this year. Hateville Hornets. It's the only team that just battles with RDU week in, week out, year in, year out. Hateville Hornets really blowing out all the competition. The only loss that they're taking has been against the RDU team. And now you look at the number 7 and under, the Bessemer Tigers out of Alabama, another team that I just feel can win it all. Bessemer Tigers on any given Saturday can be a national champion. They want to hang up here in this bracket just so they can get the opportunity to play on that next level. And at the 6 and under, at this number 6 spot, so I'm trying to get the 6 and under already, man. See, we're trying to wrap up. The number 6 spots out of DC, the L'Oreal Stallions, holding down at their number 6 spots. And of course, the Dog Pound out of the FYFL at the Florida Youth Football League, Lauderdale Lakes Vikings, really doing a special job. I'm sorry. They would kill me if I get that wrong. Sorry, we'll wait to that next group. Bugatti boys. Coach Mozo doing an excellent job with this team. Coming over from the Hurricanes, representing at the Vikings this year. Look for this team to be super special. I can't speak enough about this. This team has kind of been, on the verge of just doing great things. They're undefeated in the league play, undefeated on national play. Look forward to a lot of their Lake Vikings, a.k.a. the Bugatti boys, to represent. Coming all the way from the West Coast, Grant Junior Pacers. Listen, we've been watching them from the preseason. Special team, fundamentally sound, big boys up front, a lot of talent in the backfield. Look for the Pacers to come over all the way from the West Coast and make some noise over here in the YNC. Pat Prime, of course, you guys know, one of the biggest 7U players in the country is at the running back position, Aiden. But they have a lot more than that. They have a solid defense. They have a solid offense. But teams will have to stop that big back to make a difference. Of course, at the number 2 position, RDU. Now, this is a team, Coach Bat. I wanted to talk to him tonight. Coach Bat is offering a call-out game to Crew at home. So this is going to be one of those call-outs that we're watching very carefully. RDU wants to get on the plane, get out to Texas, and get that work. So, Crew, let's get a Sunday. Let's get the cameras out there. Let's live stream it, and let's make it happen. You got that number 1 spot. RDU wants it. That's how we do these call-outs. These teams want to come out there and go to the yard. Got to play that game, man. So let's look for RDU and Crew to get that rematch, because RDU in the preseason was the number 1 team, gave Texas Crew the game that they wanted, came out there and played them in spring, and lost in spring, and they've been at the number 2 position since. So that should be very interesting to see how that 7 and under rounds up. And so to wrap up tonight, guys, 6 and under action. Who's going to YNC? Who's going to be playing at that 6 and under action? Here's a little glimpse of the teams that's really fighting for those brackets right now. At the 15 position, at the number 15 spot, coming out of Florida, Pinellas Park T-Birds. They're trying to climb their way into it and get some action. At the 14 under, representing out of Maryland, the Maryland Heat. Man, I love this team, special talent. Bird has got his hands down there on those little boys, those little babies. We expect the Maryland Heat to try to make a push for it. Of course, I can't say this name enough out of Alabama. They got something going in that water. Bessemer Tigers, always year in, year out, competitive on multiple levels. It's no exception this year. Look for Bessemer Tigers to keep pushing. And, of course, out of Oklahoma, representing the Midwest, OKC Impact on the 11 spot for the 6 and under. Maryland Elite coming in and rounding our top 10. Of course, those first 11 to 15 were our teams on the rise. Top 10, rounding out Maryland Elite out of Maryland, just really doing their thing and holding down at the number 10 spot at the 6 and under. And Alabama is saying this name once again, Tarrant City Tide, starting a new tradition over there as well. Teams on multiple levels, nationally ranked, you got to love it. Now, let's give Dog Pound their vibe right now, their credit. Dog Pound at the 6 and under right now at the number 8 spot, holding down for Lauderdale Lakes. Of course, RDU representing at the number 7 spot. RDU, man, listen, a special team, a lot of energy. These boys get to go ahead and practice against their little 7U big brothers, and that's why they're just getting good week in and week out. And there's a lot of arguments going on in Florida. Should Osceola Cowboys be ranked over the Outlaws? Should they be ranked over the T-Birds? Man, these teams got to play each other. Osceola Cowboys has a fundamentally sound team. Of course, they're at the number 6 spots. 6 and under, they're holding it down until somebody goes ahead and punch them in the mouth. Those teams, you're welcome to play. You guys are all local. Make it happen. Number 5, coming in out of Texas, Elite Golden Bears at the 6 and under. Really representing for the 6 and under, man. I'm excited about this age group because this is where it all starts from. This is where all the fundamentals starts from at this 6 and under. I'm super excited because this is a team I really like at 6 and under. 8 Mile Giants at the number 4 spots. I think this team has enough to win it all. Remember I said this, and you can screen record this as well. I think 8 Mile Giants might be your national champs just because, man, they have a lot of talent on both sides of football. They stay calm even when they're trailing in games. But listen, you got to play the games, and it's all about those particular matchups. We all know 6U, they're good on Friday. They may not be good on Saturday, so it's like a surprise. What was the toy that you get in the Cracker Jack box? You get like a surprising box. You don't know what you're going to get on a particular Saturday with the 6U. Number 3 spot, I'm saying this name again. Not only on the 7U, but at the 6 and under. Grant Junior Pacers out of California. Boys are balling out. What's the difference with these two teams? What's going on with these two teams? They're big up front. You win with the trenches. Of course, 6U and 7U, you know, it's always about the fastest kid type of deal. Like get to the corner, get a touchdown. Grant Pacers approach it a little differently. They run right at you with the big line. So that makes a little different type of game plan when you're used to trying to control or set the edge to stop the fastest players trying to get to the outside. Grant Pacers gives you a different dimension running right at you. Duval Jags at the number 2 spot, man. Special team. I've been watching this team up close all year. I like them to really be in a championship game of whoever they would be matching up. I think Duval Jags have enough. And we can't say enough about the number 1 team in the nation. Out of Texas once again, the crew, right, really dominating that. The 6U and the 7U this year. Fell off a little bit of the 9U. There's some internal problems going on. The kids and the coaches got to get back refocused. We don't know if they'll have enough time to get back into the national championship, but there's always an opportunity. Of course, ranked up gives you an opportunity. It's going to be Thanksgiving weekend, and let me explain what ranked up is going to be all about. If you're on the outside looking in, you're trying to get down there to Miami, we're trying to solidify the last spots, maybe an at bid or trying to get into the 8 or the 9 or the 10 bracket. Rank up is going to take the top 4 teams that we feel can compete for that last spot in the Youth National Championship. So on that Thanksgiving weekend, that's going to be Thanksgiving on Thursday. Y'all enjoy with your family, eat, get full, do what you have to do. That Friday, it's games going down in Georgia. So we'll get everybody from, we'll get the information, we'll get all the flyers out to you, we'll get you guys registered. Now, anything that, Generation X does, affiliated YNC, it has to be IDs only. There's no mom and pops, turkey bowl type of vibe, ain't happening. It'll be the same credentials that you'll need to play a national championship. There won't be an exception there. There won't be any paper IDs. If you get all your stuff together now, because it's October, we're telling you about this. You have till the last weekend of November where this is going to take place, Thanksgiving weekend. We'll start reaching out to the teams that we feel maybe at the 11 through 15, they have the opportunity to come in and play for that last spot to get to the national championship. But there will be no exception. It's going to be just like playing a mini national championship. It's going to be taking place in Georgia, so you can have a hub to fly in. We're not making people come down to Florida twice. So we'll try to get all those teams in Thanksgiving weekend, that Friday and that Saturday. And, of course, on Sunday, y'all get to fly back home because we know it's usually school back on that Monday. So we're not trying to have these families on the road trying to play some football late on Sunday. Not going to happen. So we'll get all that information the next time when we go on air next week, Wednesday. We'll have that already. Just pay attention to all our social media platforms. We'll get you guys signed up. So there's still hope for you. You don't have to just fold the camp and say, man, we didn't make it this year. No, you have an opportunity to play in. Not get selected in, draw something out of a hat or a straw. You get an opportunity to play in. So it's going to be some great football. We'll have all the cameras out there. Our full rankings committee will be there because we know that weekend we're selecting teams that's going on. You'll know that when you leave there that weekend, it's not going to be, hey, let's go to the rankings next Wednesday. No, you're going to receive a plaque and you'll be saying, hey, I just punched my ticket to the YNC. So that's going to be super excited, man, that we want to share with all you guys. And, man, this is this week's ranking. Next week when we come back, we'll be that much closer to where we're going with the national championship. Of course, as in Trash Power, our playdown games are going to be all the way from Wednesday, Thursday, championships for the younger ages. And it's going to be mixed up this year. We usually split, and the YNC has been in previous years, 6U to around, I think it's 11U the first day, and then we would have 12U to 14U the second day. We're not doing it that way this year. So they're going to be mixed up. So you'll have like 6U, 7U, 14U, 13U on one day, and then you'll have, like 7U through 10U on Sunday. So we're going to make a movie out of the whole entire weekend. We just want to create like a party atmosphere for you guys, for the parents. Just make it super dope for y'all to come down and relax in Miami and just let y'all kids have the experience of the time. So the only reason we do like instant replay and red flag challenges and stuff like that with the slow motion and the review, it's because we feel the games are too important just to get some refs that may miss the calls. We know refs aren't perfect. We don't want it to a championship to be on the verge of saying, hey, man, we lost for a bad call. No, we'll have coaches have an opportunity to throw a red flag out. You'll see it on the Jumbotron. You'll see the replay. They'll have an opportunity to go ahead and challenge those just because we want to make sure we get it right. It's too important. Of course, as you see every national champ that wins the YNC, you're going to get swagged out. Let's just say you win a national championship. This is what's going to happen. Of course, you get your crystal ball right there on the spot. You get your 3-finger rings. Of course, Clay's been showing them off all this week or all for the last couple of weeks. That's going to say Youth National Championships. MVPs get real Heisman trophies right there on the spot. Like I said, you're already going to get your crystal balls and all that stuff. But most importantly, coaches, if you win a national championship, you're not playing for uniforms from Battle the following year. You're going to get the Alpha gear. You'll sit down with the designers from Battle. They'll go ahead and design you guys your uniforms from top to bottom because we want to give back. So it's not just trying to entice you guys with anything, but most importantly, y'all been thugging it out, really just believing in what we've been trying to, put on for you guys. So it's our way of giving back and making sure we can outfit the whole entire team because it's better instead of just a ring and a trophy, which you'll get anyway. We just feel it's an appreciation of a token of our appreciation that we're proud of you, that you are a national champ, and we should outfit you. So that's the theory behind it. So, man, it's just good luck to all the different teams that's just really trying to thug it out and it's challenging other teams to get out there and play. We look forward to you guys being part of Ranked Up, and we look forward to you guys getting down to South Florida. Of course, my man, the producer in the back, making it all happen, AG, doing it big. Of course, AG, we wouldn't have the national championship if AG ain't there. I'm telling you now. He's the best in the game when it comes to this live streaming and just really creating an NFL feel for these kids. He's another one who does that a labor out of love. I mean, this guy stays up countless nights just trying to get his product better when it comes to replay, graphics, scores, just to let the kids feel that's something special. And we know everybody can't travel down to Florida, so we want you to be able to see the games and represent, and this year we got something special for you guys because there's multiple fields in our playdown games and our bracket games, and we'll have cameras in all those particular areas. But he's another one that we just want to make sure that's one of our main media partners. AG just really just bringing the live stream to the next thing. And, of course, he does Rankins Uncut with us. So, man, it takes a team. Panther will be our director over at Rankins Uncut. So y'all hit Panther Alphonse up on Facebook. If you feel you got a team that got something, start shooting him now because he's going to start sorting it up and getting in our ear at the Rankins committee of who deserves those opportunities for those quick invites for Rankins for Rank Up. So Panther Alphonse, y'all look at him. He'll just make a shot. Make sure, Panther, you just type your name in there so people can go ahead and holler at you real quick. But we want to make sure we don't leave any stone unturned. We think any team that deserves the opportunity, and that's why we're doing Ranked Up, let's get it. Let's play some football. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to leave it just to us in the boardroom deciding who goes. No, let's play football. Let's get it. Let you decide it. You feel good about your team. You feel you got some smoke. You feel you got some fire. Then get that team out there on the football field, win it, and, hey, it's done deal. You punch your ticket to 305. So once again, that will be Thanksgiving weekend. That Friday and that Saturday is going down in Georgia. We'll have all those details for you. Hey, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for locking in with us week in and week out. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be updating the rankings once again, and we'll be getting closer to those teams that's punching their way. And next weekend is going to be the second round. We didn't really go to a first round, but really, let's call it our first round. First round of invites are going to be next week here right on Rankins Uncut. Of course, I'm Jonah Willard, and also for my partner, Clayton Guillory, who's not here tonight, and for AG Productions, my man in the background. Hey, till next week, same place, same time. Keep it right here on Rankins Uncut.